Hello, beautiful micro community. This is a health update about how I am doing coming into month 4 of long COVID microvascular damage with 20 years of ME before under my belt, myalgic encephalomyelitis. Let's do a little physical update, tiny medical update, and a takeaway about chronic illness. The physical breaks down into two: functioning and suffering. Functionally, I haven't improved. I am still at a point where I can't stand more than 10 minutes a day, where I can't sit in the chair more than half an hour every second day, and where I can't sit up in bed more than 2 hours a day on a good day. That's in contrast to standing more freely and being able to sit up relatively freely in bed before the COVID exposure. The gap is even bigger in terms of suffering. ME is a very suffering-inducing illness. ME patients often feel that they're in the kind of state that's best described by the question, how can I be this ill and not be dead? So there's a dramatization of volatility and extremity, not just the 10-20 ME symptoms getting worse, but an extraordinary additional feeling of blunt, suffocating toxicity from your neck to your ankles that feels sort of genuinely threatening. In other words, if a healthy person felt that for 5 minutes, I'd call an ambulance. And of course, extreme chest symptoms, regularly gasping for air, and extreme chest reactivity to sitting up or standing up. So it's certainly physically nightmarish, up to a level where there are often times where you think, I'm just going to get through the next 60 minutes. If I get through the next 60 minutes, I'm going to get through the next 60 minutes. How is the level of suffering relative to a month ago and 2 months ago? It's probably been worse in months, sort of month 2 and 3 than in the first month. So it's a double immigration from the world, right? When you have ME, you've emigrated from the world to another planet. And this is a second immigration from that planet to a yet worse planet further removed from the world. Medically, I am doing a set of meds that were part of a trial recently for post-COVID heart damage. I've started with the 2 lighter ones, and I've reacted badly to both. So I'm in this typical ME predicament where you are made profoundly ill by medications you take. And one of these was very, very benign. It was just changing a beta blocker. And that's gone very badly for me and has put me in the kind of cycle out of which I haven't been able to reverse myself yet. So this is the kind of the constant challenge of all the meds that you might take, that you're reacting to the things that help you. So let's give a nice psychological insight into chronic illness now. So when I do all of my videos, whether it's sitting up or standing up, that's not representative of where I'm at. That's like somebody bobbing out at sea, up and down in the waves, and then being washed out onto the beach for an hour, and then interacting with you from the beach. And you think, well, they're just sort of, lying around on the beach. But they're not. They're normally out at sea. And it's incredibly difficult for us humans to understand that seriously chronically ill people are just visiting us from another world in their better moments when we interact with them. It's really hard for us to grasp what is not before our eyes, and so we tend to universalize what is before our eyes, even though we know it's not another person's experience. We just can't but help generalize it, right? So these are departures from a pattern of sort of floating around in the waves that give me a little bit extra breathing room, and then I go and then interact with my beautiful community. Mental health? Well, I'll be frank. I'm very lucky with my mental health, with my not just resilience, because resilience is an overwhelmingly universal human quality. Most humans will be resilient under great pressure, but I'm lucky with my pliancy and flexibility, my capacity to dance with these symptoms. So, no, my mental health is not even 1 millimeter worse after 3 or 4 months of this. It's exactly the same, and you can see that in my videos that I'm giving energy. I'm not taking energy, no matter what I'm going through physically. Now, I don't get cocky about this, because I just know one bizarre, non-psychologically mediated alteration of brain chemistry could tilt me out of this, right? Could be something bad happens in my gut, boom, and suddenly all of my fancy talk about how extraordinary my mental health is flies right out the window. But from a psychological point of view, there's nothing psychologically that could happen that could change it. So I'm very privileged with that, and that gives me capacity to hold people, both in the chronic illness community and in the human community, the community of humans who are terrified about losing their democracies. So much love.